Welcome to Dandy Soap DIY. We're going to do the Dollar Tree witch hat of the plastic frame that has the boo on it, and we're going to use 21-inch poly Deco Mesh. Remove the trimmings from the hat and leave the tinsel. Cut 8 pieces 6 inches wide of 2 colors. If you're using a single color, then of course you'll want to cut 16 pieces that are 6 inches wide. Since I've elected 2 colors, I need 8 of each. It takes 16 bundles to fill this little hat, believe it or not, but it turns out very professional looking. For a background, cut 16 pieces of 10-inch of the 6-inch Deco Mesh from Dollar Tree. The mesh tubing from Dollar Tree, they have this green and the raspberry. And the green actually has almost like a fur on it. It is really, really great. So you'll need, of course, 8 pieces 16 inches long. And you'll need 16 pieces 9 inches long of 2.5-inch wide ribbon. Once again, if you pick 2 different ribbons, then of course you're going to want to cut 8 of each for a total of 16 to match up all your bundles. They have this beautiful tulle in raspberry, and it has this gorgeous scroll on it. I cut 8 pieces 10 inches long, and this gives a lot of detail to your wreath. They had the spider web, so I wanted 8 pieces of that 10 inches long. All your tulle, you want to cut those 10 inches long. Now, I dovetailed all of my ribbons, and this is basically how you turn your wire to the left and cut from the right to the left at a 45-degree angle. Once again, fold it in half, and if you are left-handed, you do the opposite. You would turn it and put your wire to the right and cut from the left to the right. Now this is glow-in-the-dark mesh. This is a brand new item that Dollar Tree has, and I wanted to incorporate it in this witch hat wreath. So I cut 8 pieces 10 inches long. And this will just go every other. So preparing the bundles to really truly make it easy, divide your ribbons so that I have 8 in one stack and 8 in the other. And when I put these bundles together, I of course want my tulle divided out as well. And since I cut extra tulle that glows in the dark, I will put half of those in one stack and half in the other. And this makes sense to prepare in advance and get all of your supplies situated. That way, when you start putting your bundles together, you can move swiftly and it's a lot less stress and everything stays in order. Additionally, since we're using 21-inch mesh, we don't want all that fray going on. So the less you have to handle your Deco Mesh, the better off you are and the less fray you have in the ribbon itself. So as you see, I'm taking the tulle and I'm equally dividing them one after the other so that when I start making the bundles, I can just pick them up one at a time and they'll be in direct order. And put my ribbons with it, so I have 2 stacks. Chenille Stems, of course, you will need several. Creating the bundles. Scrunchie towards you your black first, and then the color of your Deco Mesh you elected, scrunchie it also. Put those together. Oh, by the way, grab you some of these clothespins from Dollar Tree. Thank you, Tracy. This is a great suggestion, and they work as your other set of hands. So as you see here, I have a ribbon, and I put it with the Deco Mesh. And they'll hold it in place and make your tubing like a figure 8. Grab one of your tulle pieces right off the top and place it with it. Now, in color coordination, I'm putting my raspberry with the raspberry in this particular bundle. And this has the witch's hat with a spider and a white background ribbon. So Chenille stem that bundle together and just tie the bundle together. Do not worry about extra chenille. We're going to cut more stems when we go to anchor them onto the wreath. So this is a matter of organizing and getting all the bundles ready. And I do take a moment to straighten out the ribbon and the tulle and make sure everything's kind of laying vertical. And then once I get it on the wreath, I can fluff those out more. So once again, grab your black, scrunchie it towards you. Just put your thumbs there, hold it, and draw it towards you. Grab your first color and scrunchie it and draw it towards you. Now you can clip those together, lay it aside, grab your tubing, make it like a figure 8, grab one of your ribbons and one of your tulles. And you'll put the tulle underneath the ribbon. As you see, I'm demonstrating here. I tried it by putting the tulle on top of the ribbon, and it does not look good. It takes away, and the ribbon doesn't get shown off. So I'm showing you the wrong way to do it if you're going to incorporate tulle into your witch hat wreath. If you are planning on just using ribbon and the tubing, this will not be an issue for you. And I'm just showing you, I went ahead with it. So here I've moved back to the raspberry tubing. I have my ribbon, and now I'm doing it correctly. Put the tulle underneath it. Once you get those kind of together, you'll have your Deco Mesh already clipped. Put your Chenille stem around the entire bundle. Give it several twists, and that way you can bend the Chenille stem underneath it so it's out of the way. That way you don't have to cut it, and it's done. And a little fluff. So here I have the black ribbon that has the orange pumpkins and other characters, and I am showing you that this is the set where I'm incorporating the raspberry tubing, the ribbon, and the lime green mesh. And I'm making these bundles all of the green first. Then I'll grab the other set we divided out earlier and separated and stacked accordingly and do all of the raspberry color. And this is looking pretty good. So now I'm moving up to the raspberry. Once again, scrunching it the same way, just draw it towards you. Use those clips as your other set of hands, and that frees you up. It takes stress off of you. And I want you to be able to make this if you have arthritis or some kind of cramping in your hand, or like I have, carpal tunnel. This is another set of hands for you. Takes the stress off. And now I'm working with the lime green and incorporating it. And I use the green tubing with the raspberry mesh, and I use the raspberry tubing with the lime green mesh. So once I tie these up, I'm ready to move forward and start putting these bundles kind of together to save me on time. This Deco Mesh is really stiff, but it looks great when you get it all set up. The lime green tubing with the ribbon and the tulle, got that together. I'll grab up my bundle with my clip, place it together, and now I can Chenille stem that bundle, and it is ready for the wreath. Another thing that you can do to move things with advance is I found a clever little trick with these clothespins. The hollow part, the big round, as you can see, it will hold the tubing, the ribbon, and the tulle. Really neat, right in the center, and the tubing doesn't come loose at all. You will have no problem. And if you do all those in advance, where I'm showing you how to build the bundles as we go, if you do these in advance, then you can do what I just did, and it really moves a lot swifter. And those clothespins are the greatest little trick. Now on our hat, we have 16 areas here, and we're going to use the very center, and it has some definition as 3-dimensional. Now the first two I'm going to anchor on. As you can see here, they have the glow in the dark, the tulle, and I'm going to anchor those on first. And yes, I am using matching Chenille stem on the Boo hat because of the way it's made, and we're utilizing the tinsel that's on it as a buffer, but also because of the way the bundles have to fit on there and the hat kind of turns up and pitches out. You truly will need 16, and you want to make sure that you're matching your Chenille stem because they do tend to show on this particular hat because you're working on an upward 3-dimensional pitch in the center there. And if you get on fluffy enough, that's not a problem either. but I have these pretty jammed up. This wreath was requested. It is an order, and therefore it needs to be professionally made. So you're getting to see instructions on how you can make yours look store-bought. And this is truly going to be of a retail level when it's complete. I put the lime green on the sides with the glow-in-the-dark tulle. Now I'm putting my raspberry in. So I'll put a raspberry on each side. Now a lot of people work from one side to the other. Because this is an even number and because I need this to be balanced, I tend to anchor mine on one side and on the other, and I just go back and forth and fill in coming towards the center. That way, if it just so happens I need an extra bundle, I can very well fill in any spaces or blanks. But I assure you, with all the supplies that I'm recommending you use on this little wreath, it's going to look professionally made and you are going to be super proud of it. And it's so attractive. This is just an adorable wreath and everyone makes it. So there's no surprise that I wanted to make it too and share it with you. Voila. Here she is, and she's gorgeous. Look at all those colors and they really pop. And the more you fluff it out, the prettier it looks. And in the back, don't worry about it because nothing's going to catch. So the witches in little sign, I took that off of another hanging sign from Dollar Tree. I take my Chenille Stems and painter's tape and lay it over top of that glue. That sign will never come loose. You won't ever have to worry about it falling apart, and it can tolerate the weight, the heat, and all the elements outside. Now to make the top, cut some more of your tulle, and it just makes it gorgeous. And I only did these like 4 inches wide because the tulle itself is 6 inches. And then I cut some ribbon 5 inches long, and I'm stacking this tulle together and putting the ribbon with it. But I found that it had to be bigger. So I grabbed the Deco Mesh, and this is a 6-inch wide piece, and I'm going to cut it in half so that I can scrunch it. Now the reason for this is up top of this hat, you can put a beautiful little blossom bundle, and with the 21-inch Deco Mesh cut in half, you're going to get this really pretty floral flow when you gather it up. So if you make 2 bundles of that and dovetail your ribbons, you can put those 2 bundles together and it will be large enough for the top of this hat and making this little blossom. Now with the 21-inch mesh, because this one's been cut a couple of times and been handled, once I get this tied together in a single bundle, I do use an extra long Chenille stem on that one. You're going to want to trim off anything that's frayed or sticking out to make it look professionally done. And once you run it through the top piece up here, there's a little spot. It's a perfect spot. You can tie it on and just take and bend your Chenille stems and tuck them inside. That way they're not scratching or dragging on anything. Go ahead and put the witch sign on. You can elect any sign. This would look really good with a broom or different ideas that you can come up with. These are just gorgeous. Put a dot of glue up there at the top of that hat just to make sure it don't come off. And they had these little stickers last year. I thought that'd be cute as a button per se in the center. Well, here she is. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I really, really appreciate it. And if you're not subscribed to Dandy Soap DIY, well, go ahead. This is Elizabeth, and I enjoyed making this wreath with you. Let me know if you make yours and what colors you choose. Until the next DIY, I'll be crafting y'all. Bye.